balance of power in the Demon Slayer verse is based on the fact that demons can't walk under the sun, and demon slayers need to fight them during the nighttime where they thrive. But have you ever wondered what would happen if the demons in Demon Slayer were immune to sunlight? Would Demon Slayer Corps even exist? If they did, how do you think they would beat Muzan? Well, with that being said, I did a ton of research, and I'm happy to say I came up with some pretty interesting takes on this alternative timeline. I've split it into two scenarios, and for the first scenario, let's say Muzan, the first ever demon, was immune to sunlight since the very beginning. How would this very terrifying turn of events affect the entire story of the Demon Slayer verse? Well, for starters, Muzan was born during the Heian period, and at some point during that period, a quack doctor tried to cure him of his sickness. Instead of healing him, however, the doctor accidentally unleashed an unstoppable evil to the world. After thinking that the doctor was only playing games, Muzan murders him. A few days later, Muzan finds himself in a much better state and also wants to eat human flesh. As Muzan tests just how strong he is, he finds out that not only is he stronger, but this time around, he is basically unkillable. He can walk under the sun and heal himself instantly, no matter what injury he would get. Right then and there, Muzan understood that he was no longer human. Instead, he saw himself as the perfect being. Now, during this time, demon slayers, demon slayer markers, breathing techniques, and Nichiren swords did not exist. So, this would mean that nobody would be able to stop or maybe even slow down Muzan's growth. As we all know, a demon's strength grows the more people they consume, right? And since the people during the Heian period had no idea how to kill demons, Muzan basically has a buffet. And since people from that time period couldn't stop him, he would just end up slaughtering countless people and grow even stronger. With his weakness out of the way, the sky cannot even limit Muzan's growth. He would eventually become so strong that he wouldn't even need to create other demons to conquer the world. But then again, where's the fun in that, right? Originally, Muzan's goal was to find a way to conquer the sun and become the ultimate being. But since he's already immune to sunlight in this alternate timeline, his ultimate goal would also change. Now, we all know that Muzan is a narcissist, right? So, what do you think would be a fitting goal for him now that he's immortal and all-powerful? Well, for me, I think the fitting ultimate goal for him would be to walk over every imperfect being. And by imperfect beings, I mean humans. This goal would go so well with his personality. With this goal set in stone, Muzan would rule over an entire country in a matter of weeks, getting rid of those who are against him and turning others into demons. With his blood demon art, he could create an unstoppable army that cannot disobey him, just like the demons in the original storyline. With the perfect army at his hands, no country on Earth would be safe from him. Muzan would essentially control the entire country and bring in so much darkness. For as long as Muzan lives and breathes, his rule over humanity will never end. Like, for real, he wouldn't even need a plan. He could just create an army of demons and take over any country he wishes without any difficulty because, other than the sun, it's been established that only a Nichiren blade is capable of killing a demon by cutting off its head. And since Muzan is immune to sunlight, his objects would also be immune as well, meaning Nichiren blades or any weapon made from Nichiren are practically useless. What's even crazier is that a demon is like 3 times stronger than an average human. Not only that, but demons also have regenerative abilities. So, after conquering Japan, Muzan sets his sights higher and decides to take over every land and every nation on the planet. He raises the number of his army and goes out to sea to make his empire bigger. Not only that, the possibility of Yoriichi even being born would really, and I cannot stress this enough more than I already have, really small. But on the slim chance he is born, Yoriichi would most likely be turned into a demon because of his natural abilities. I mean, Yoriichi as a demon serving under Muzan would be so terrifying. And on the same small chance any of you still want to become a demon slayer, it would still be useless anyway. Because, again, the demons in this alternate storyline have no weaknesses. So, Yoriichi being a demon slayer in this storyline would be super pointless. Not to mention, Yoriichi was born during the Sengoku era, which means Muzan would have already solidified his rule all over the world using his demon powers. This would mean that our guy Yoriichi would be born in a world where demons rule over everything. Humans are only kept alive with the sole purpose of becoming food for demons, or he wouldn't even be born at all. So yeah, basically the plot for Demon Slayer in this alternative storyline would be super different from the original, because instead of humanity fighting back against demons, everything would just be hopeless. Yeah, I know this storyline is familiar to you, because it is. I took a page from A Promised Neverland story, but there's a huge difference between the two, because in this alternate version of Demon Slayers, what is it? Well, there's no happy ending. Realistically speaking, no human demon could defeat an immortal being who has no weakness. Rebelling against Muzan would be a waste of time and resources. Not to mention, Muzan has his eyes and ears everywhere since he's connected to every demon. So you can't keep a secret from him. When his minions discover something that could be a threat to Muzan, he acts ahead of time and extinguishes any hope humans would have. This includes the discovery of wisteria flowers whose primary function is to ward off demons. I mean, sure, Shinobu does use a wisteria to kill demons by injecting high concentrations of the poison into a demon's body, effectively stopping their regenerative abilities. An example of this is when Shinobu killed the spider demon in Mount Natsukumo. But the limit stops there, because in the face of Upper Moon demons, the wisteria poison cannot actually kill them. Just like how Doma, the Upper Moon 2, was able to take a high concentrated amount of wisteria poison during his battle against Shinobu in the Infinity Castle arc. And if he would have survived if Inosuke and Kaneo weren't there when the drug truly kicked in. Also, let's not forget that the chances of high-level demons being born is much higher. Just like in the original series, there are bound to be demons that will become super powerful. Muzan even would grow much stronger than he originally was, 100 times stronger at least. The first generation of demons in this storyline would also grow increasingly more powerful than the current Upper Moons, because the Upper Moons and other demons were originally created to find the blue spider lily, with their movements limited since they couldn't move during the day. But in this story, the demons are unstoppable and were created for the purpose of serving Muzan and conquering the entire world. The demons here are born for war and would obviously have a much higher chance of growing incredibly strong since they aren't afraid of the sun. That's why a lot of characters in the original series like Tanjiro, Nezuko, and others would either never be born or would be born as slaves or livestock. Also, the entire Ubuyashiki family would end up becoming demons since their ancestors are related to Muzan. Instead of the Demon Slayer Corps being formed with the goal of defeating Muzan, it would be an association of the strongest demons fully loyal to the Demon King, and I'd call them the Royal Demon Army. None of the original plot would make it into this alternate storyline, and Muzan would live on forever, watching as mankind suffers right before his eyes. Humanity would be forced to endure Muzan's sadistic, narcissistic, and ruthless nature for thousands of generations to come. In other words, not a single human after the Heian period would be born in times of peace. Ultimately, Earth would become a planet ruled by unkillable demons who may or may not outlive the planet itself. But what would happen if the demons became immune to sunlight during the original timeline of Demon Slayer? Well, for this alternate storyline, let's go back to the first episode. As Tanjiro heads home after selling some coal, he smells blood the closer he gets to his home. In a panic, Tanjiro scrambles and runs towards the house, where he is greeted by a terrifying scene. He sees his entire family dead. Overwhelmed by emotions, Tanjiro cries as he holds his family. Suddenly, Tanjiro picks up another scent, one that doesn't belong to his family or any animal. Since he's really angry, Tanjiro picks up his wooden axe and follows the smell deeper into the forest. Moments later, he spots where the scent was coming from over a patch of flowers near a cliff. Without hesitating, Tanjiro rushes forward and swings his axe, aiming for the head. At that moment, as the culprit dodged faster than Tanjiro could blink, when he opened his eyes again, Tanjiro would be held over the cliff's edge while Muzan watched him struggle to break free. Seeing the Hanafuda earrings from Tanjiro's ears, Muzan became really angry. Even though he found it very hard to form a sentence, Tanjiro asks Muzan why he killed his family. Hearing this, Muzan just tells him that he was hungry. After answering Tanjiro's question, Muzan immediately kills him because looking at his face and earrings pisses him off so much. So if you don't want to die a horrible death like Tanjiro, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Going back, the reason why Muzan was hunched over a patch of flowers was because of one simple yet amazing reason. He found them. At long last, after 1,000 years, Muzan finally found the blue spider lily. And if you didn't know, the blue spider lily was the thing he had been searching for in Demon Slayer since it can make him immune to sunlight. Wasting no time, Muzan picked several flowers and began absorbing them. This caused Muzan to start shaking uncontrollably. After enduring the extreme pain, Muzan stood up and his skin started to go back to a normal color. Once his transformation was complete, Muzan felt even stronger than before. To test the effects of the blue spider lily on his body for the first time in 1,000 years, the King of Demons started walking under the sun. At first, Muzan was hurt when sunlight touched his skin, but eventually the pain slowly disappeared. And with this, Muzan's ultimate goal was finally accomplished. After becoming the perfect being he had wanted to become for so long, Muzan decided to reveal himself to the world. In Asakusa, as the roads became busy during nighttime, Muzan stood in the middle of the street and revealed his true nature. In a flash, dead bodies covered the streets. The fear of those who witnessed spread like wildfire. People ran, trying to escape from this evil, but before they could leave the town, they were killed by the Upper and Lower Moons, effectively trapping the remaining survivors within Asakusa. You would think this move was so random for Muzan and his servants, since they could have just attacked several towns at the same time, and that would have been much easier to reveal the existence of demons. But by trapping the people of Asakusa, the Demon Slayer Corps would be forced to go all there and rescue them. By doing so, Muzan could kill two birds with one stone. He not only revealed to the world that demons exist, but he also could eliminate the annoying demon slayers once and for all. And so begins the not-so-epic final clash between demon slayers versus demons. And they don't even know that Muzan's immune to the sun. The Demon Slayer Corps blindly rush in, ready for battle. Just like in the first scenario, Muzan, the 12 Kazuki, and even the normal demons cannot be killed anymore, even if the demon slayers could cut off their heads with Nichiren swords. If you're still confused why, well, to put it simply, Nichiren swords are effective against demons because these special swords constantly absorb sunlight, making them the most efficient tool in killing demons. But now, they're just like any normal sword. This means the Hashiras and the entire Demon Slayer Corps are about to find out about Muzan's success in the most horrifying way possible. As the Hashiras cut off lesser demons' heads with ease, they noticed something weird. None of the decapitated demons were turning into ash like they normally should. Only those weak demons that were given a high concentration of wisteria poison were dying, while those being decapitated by Nichiren swords continued to heal themselves and fight. Seeing the confused looks on the Hashira's faces, Muzan laughs like how you would imagine an evil villain would and reveals the truth. At first, the Hashiras and Demon Slayers think the Demon King was just bluffing, so they continue to fight the countless unkillable demons. Muzan likes this moment and asks if they could fight even harder. Even though the wisteria poison was effective on the lesser demons, the same logic could not be applied to the Upper Moons. With limited supply, Shinobu's poison was not enough for the huge number of demons attacking them. And more importantly, Shinobu is the only Hashira known to use wisteria to kill demons. And as the fight drags on slowly but surely, Shinobu's poison runs out before they could reach any of the Upper Moons or Muzan. Meanwhile, Gyoko and Hentenegu successfully find the head of the Demon Slayer Corps, which are not the Ibuyashiki, but a different unnamed family. The two Upper Moons bring the leaders of the Demon Slayer Corps to Muzan. The entire Demon Slayer Corps starts to lose hope, and their fighting spirit vanishes when they see their master's final moments at the hands of the Demon King. With their leader gone, the Hashiras started going wild and tried so desperately to kill Muzan. In the end, their efforts were not enough, because even though they tried so hard, the huge number of immortal lesser demons was enough to keep them at bay. But as they were about to give up, Iguro saw the first rays of sun and started to see hope. In his mind, if they could hold off all the demons, including Muzan, for a little more time, the sun would finish the job and this nightmare would finally end. He told the others about his plans, and the Demon Slayer Corps lifted their spirits and gave it their all in one last final attempt for victory. But as we all know, it's just about to become even more terrifying. As the sun rose, not a single demon was dying. Seeing their hopes get crushed for the second time made Muzan laugh hysterically. One by one, the Hashiras started to fall from the unending attacks they had to face for hours. Some members died instantly, while some died a slow and painful death. Muzan watches the Demon Slayer Corps be destroyed, and now he makes plans to conquer the world. Now, that was a sad and terrifying alternate timeline, and we're lucky it didn't happen. But let's give the Hashiras the spotlight this time. What if we'll give the Hashiras Demon Slayer marks? If you're curious, then what are you still doing here? Click it!